Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In my previous video, I told you that I will include a full stack web development course on my YouTube channel. But before diving into the course, I think that it is better to understand what is full stack web development, who is full stack web developer, and complete roadmap to a full stack web development in 2022. So let's start. Welcome. Every website or web application is composed of two parts. One is client side called frontend and other is server side called backend. Frontend of the website is the part which a user watch and interact with it. Frontend of the web application run in a software application called Internet Explorer or browser like Google Chrome, Microsoft Explorer, Microsoft Edge, Brave or Firefox. Frontend comprises of text, images, buttons, text boxes and menus. Backend of the website comprises of everything which is behind the scene and user is unaware of that. It is the business logic of the website, server software and hardware, APIs, databases and much more makes the backend of the website. In other words, the content of the web page which rendered from web server and database make the backend of the website. Types of web developer. Depending on the front end and backend division of the website, there are three kinds of web developers. Number 1, front-end web developers. Number 2, back-end web developers. Number 3, full-stack web developers. Front-end developers can be called as front-end designer, the person who is expert or responsible for the development of front-end user interface of the website is called front-end developer or designer. A front-end of the website deals with look and feel of the website. All the text, images, buttons, menus, text boxes shown on the website makes the front end of the website. A front-end designer is responsible for the front-end look and feel of the website. He must be aware and has knowledge of the responsive design, UI UX design patterns as well as fonts, typography, etc. Backend developer and DevOps engineer. A backend developer is responsible for developing the backend of the website. He is actually a web programmer who knows the programming language, installation, hosting, configuration, maintenance of the website. He is responsible for building the business logic of the website. Backend web developer also has knowledge of DevOps. Backend developer is also aware of the security issues and much more. We will discuss about it in more details later. Full stack web developer. As it is clear from the name that full stack web developer is one who can develop front end and as well as back end of the website. I am using the term website, web application and web page. All have the same meaning. A website can be called as website, web page or web application. A full stack web developer can work on front end, back end, database, debugging and deployment of the web application. A full stack web developer knows all the techniques and technologies used in the front-end and back-end development. In short, a full stack web developer can design, develop, deploy and manage a full stack web project. In other words, he can manage a web project end to end. Advantages of full stack web developer. Becoming a full stack web developer is not hard or tough job. So there are a number of advantages if you are a full stack web developer. It is strong chances of that you can be hired as front-end or back-end or full-stack web developer on your new job. You can develop and manage a full-stack web application at your own. You can enjoy and have full freedom of the handling any kind of the web technology without the help of any other. You can start your career as a freelancer. A full-stack web developer always a team leader who can lead and manage a full web project. Full-stack developer have high salaries as well. Now we are coming to the main topic of this discussion, complete roadmap to full stack web development in 2022 or How to become a full stack web developer in 2022? What is the roadmap to become a full stack web developer in 2022? Before starting the journey on the given path, it is better that you must decide what you want to do, what is your goal, and what you want to develop. If your goal is to become a full stack web developer, then start your journey with us, and this is the right place where you landed. For easiness, we have divided this discussion into the proper steps to follow. How to start your journey as a full stack web developer? Let's follow me. Basic tools and software needed for web development. Computer and operating system. First thing is first, you must have a laptop or a PC to start your web development. There is no need of any heavy duty expensive computer, but you must have computer with some good specification. Then decide which operating system you have to use and choose whether it is Mac OS, Linux or Windows. I always suggest you that you must have to choose the operating system to whom you are already familiar and comfortable. Text editors, IDE. There are a number of IDE and text editors available for web development. These include Sublime Text, Vim, Atoms, Microsoft Visual Studio Code, Microsoft Visual Studio 2022, Adobe Dreamweaver, but I love and recommend that you should use Microsoft Visual Studio Code. Web browser. Which web browser you will use for your web development? Most developers' first choice is either Chrome or Firefox. Chrome is the fast and it uses a V8 engine. Firefox has also come a long way and some of its good stuff is not in the Chrome browser. Both browsers have fantastic dev tools to troubleshoot the issues in web development. Other web browsers to get familiar with are Safari, Edge and Brave. Here I suggest you to use Chrome due to its dev tools. Terminals. During the web development, you have to work a lot with CLI using some system commands. You can use the default or third-party terminals for your web development project. Bash, PowerShell, GetBash, iTerm, Hyper, all are options available to use. Design tools. Design tools added in your bucket put more values to your productivity and independence. Not everybody need to learn this. In companies, there is a specific team to make images, logos, or sketches, but if you are a front-end developer or you are working as a freelancer, then you may have to learn Adobe XD, Photoshop, Sketch, or Figma. Choose any one of them. HTML and CSS. Now we are on the road to a full stack web development. Follow these steps one after the other for easiness of your learning. Number 1. HTML and CSS. Start your learning from the HTML and CSS as every web page which you browse is composed of HTML and CSS. So your starting point is learning HTML and CSS. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language and CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. HTML makes the skeleton of the web page whereas CSS decorates it. HTML is not a computer language and it is divided into semantic tags. On the other hand, CSS defines the position of various elements on the page, font, size and color, etc. Learning of HTML and CSS includes HTML semantic tags, attributes, doc types, CSS fundamentals, CSS grid and flexbox, CSS custom properties, transitions and animations, responsive layout, CSS preprocessors, UI UX design principles and patterns. CSS framework. It is much better to learn about CSS framework as these speeds up the building process of the website. Some of the important CSS framework are Ascender, Bootstrap, Tailwind CSS, Bulma, Materialize. Choose any one of them. Number 3. JavaScript. Learning JavaScript is much more important whether you are a front-end or a back-end or a full-stack web developer. JavaScript is first programming language which a browser understands. It is used to produce a user interactivity. In old days of the web development, JavaScript is considered to be the only client-side language, but nowadays there are a lot of JavaScript framework which are used at the server end as well, as learning JavaScript at this stage will help later at backend as well as in mobile application development. First learn the plain or vanilla JavaScript and understand it, then you move towards some JavaScript framework. Some of the important JavaScript frameworks are as under. Frontend JavaScript Framework. Frameworks allow you to do more advanced front-end development. It gives you a lot of advantages such as reusable components, more organized UI or page interaction. So using a framework saves a lot of time. Pick up a front-end framework to enhance your skill and try to choose one which one of the most companies are using in the present scenario. Also learn about state management. Each framework has different ways of doing this. For 2022, below are some popular frameworks and state managers. React. React library is the most popular to learn for web development, and it is fairly easy in comparison to other frameworks and libraries. You can use Redux and Context API with hooks for state management. Vue. Vue is also gaining popularity and developers can prefer to learn Vue as well. Vue is the easiest to learn in comparison of the React and Angular. Vuex is the state manager built for Vue. Angular. This framework is generally used in large organizations. It has a pretty steep learning curve. You will have to learn TypeScript to work with Angular. Before moving forward, it is important to learn some of the important tools which are used in web development. These include Git and GitHub, browser dev tools, JavaScript package managers like npm, yarn, webpack, parcel, rollup, some of the important extensions and plugins which can be included in text editors. I will include a separate video which will cover practically all of them, so we move forward. Some more, you can learn TypeScript, which is pretty popular in industry. It is the superset of JavaScript that makes your code more robust and less prone to errors. TypeScript is great for large projects. Learn about server-side rendering, Next.js, React, Nest.js, Vue and Angular Universal for Angular is the framework that allows you to run React, Vue and Angular on the server. All of them have great features such as better SEO, file system routing, automatic code splitting, static exporting, CSS and JS and a lot of other features. Static site generators, Gatsby for React and Gatsum for Vue. Also understand the use of jQuery, a JavaScript library. We have discussed the majority of front-end development tools and technology. Now it is time to move forward. Number 5. Moving to backend. Now it is time to take your journey towards the backend development. There are a number of programming languages can be used for developing the backend of the website. These include Node.js, Python, Java, PHP, C#, Kotlin, Dart. Here I always suggest that choose a language wisely and stick with it. I recommend choose C# at first and then move to the Node.js. Number 6. Server-side framework. Once you learn one server-side language of your own choice, go with one of the frameworks for your language. You can choose one of the options given below. For Node.js, Python, Java, PHP, Ruby, C#, Kotlin, Dart. I recommend you use C# with ASP.NET and ASP.NET Core and Blazor. I will discuss about them in detail later. Number 7. Fundamentals of operating system. Now you have successfully mastered one of the programming language. It is time to have some hands on the operating system, whether it is Linux or Windows, where you want to deploy your web application. You need to have hands-on installation, deinstallation of the operating system, its basic commands, etc. It will help you a lot at your job. In case of Windows, you must have the knowledge of PowerShell. In case of Linux, you must have the knowledge of shell scripting and some of the basic commands. Number 8. Database. Most web apps need a place to store data. In some cases, certain technology or certain languages go well with certain database. For example, in Stack, M stands for MongoDB, and in Stack, M stands for MySQL. But it is totally up to you which database you want to choose for your application. We are going to include some of the famous databases here. Relational databases. RDBMS is still the most popular database. PostgreSQL, SQL, MySQL, MS SQL is still most preferred to use. NoSQL, MongoDB, CouchDB, Elasticsearch. Cloud databases, Firebase, Azure Cloud DB and AWS. Lightweight and cache, Redis, SQLite, GraphQL, optional. You can learn about GraphQL, which is quite popular nowadays. It is a query language for your API. It has a simple syntax similar to JSON and it is fairly easy to implement. Number 9. Web securities. Web security is another important topic and you must learn about how to make your website secure from external threats like SQL injection, cross-site attacks, etc. Number 10. Testing. Testing a web application before deploying on production is an important step, so the knowledge about different testing techniques and methods is much better. So learn about the following: unit tests, integrating testing, end-to-end test. There are a number of testing frameworks available for different languages such as Just and Maucha for JS testing, PyTest and Robot for Python, and unit test for C#, etc. Number 11. Deployment and DevOps. Deploying and hosting a web application on production or live server is a complex process, but it is an important step, so the knowledge of DevOps is important for full stack web developer. DevOps is a process which is a combination of IT operations and system development phases. So also put this knowledge in your bucket adds more value to your career. Hosting platforms include DigitalOcean, AWS, Azure. Web servers includes Nginx, Apache and IIS. There are some containers like Docker and Kubernetes. CI, continuous integration, CD, continuous delivery, Jenkins, Travis CI and Circle CI. All the knowledge about these various technologies is very important. Number 12. Caching. Caching is super thing in the world of web and real-time web applications, as it doubles the user experience in the matter of speed. Mostly used way is Redis. So learn about Redis, how caching is implemented and done. I will also include a video on this important topic in this course. Caching is super important not only in web but also in the world of other courses of the computer science. Number 13. What is cloud and cloud providers? What is cloud and what are the main cloud service providers around us? Knowledge about this is very important, so you must have to learn about this topic as much as possible because in the coming future it gains momentum and more popularity. There are a number of cloud services providers including DigitalOcean, AWS, Google Cloud, Azure, etc. You must learn one of them and deep dive into one of them. Learn and explore about all the services, especially virtual server management, databases and storage services they provide. Additional, if you have a knowledge of some content management system, CMS, then it is also plus point. So also try to gather some of the knowledge about the following: traditional CMS and headless CMS. Now we have completed the learning path of full stack web developer. Now at the end, what we have to learn from start to finish. Let's see. Step 1. HTML and CSS. Step 2. CSS frameworks. Step 3. JavaScript. Step 5. JavaScript framework. Step 6. Select a programming language for backend development. Backend framework, OS fundamentals, web security, CMS, cloud services, caching, and deployment. At the end, this is the full stack web development roadmap in 2022. Thank you very much for watching and listening. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel and press the bell icon so that all upcoming videos comes to you as per our plan. In my next video, I will start our real journey into the full stack web developer course. We will start it with a first step HTML and CSS. Thank you very much.